The effect that I'm most aware of in the assassination of Dr. King was in the final and total rejection on the part of the establishment of black people approaching the establishment on its own terms. And it was proven and made very clear to all black people that this is something that would not work, that the rewards of Dr. King's very gracious and noble and Western, white, Christian approach to solving black people's problems was rejected finally.
The only individual who had...
And there goes, you hear the title. You just heard it in what Ms. Cleaver said. So I do want to rewind back and kind of look at what she said again here. And kind of break down the point that she's making here. So let's listen.
Of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
The effect that I'm most aware of in the assassination of Dr. King was in the final and total rejection on the part of the establishment of black people approaching the establishment on its own terms. And it was proven and made very clear to all black people that this is something that would not work, that the rewards of Dr. King's very gracious and noble and Western, white, Christian approach to solving black people's problems was rejected finally.
The only individual.
So I think what she's saying in this, or how I take what she's saying in this, is that she's saying that, I mean, she explicitly says that the assassination of MLK was the final nail in the coffin, if you look at it that way, or what's another analogy? I'm trying to give a softer analogy, but the only ones coming to my mind aren't as soft. But what she's saying is that with the assassination of MLK, that was the proof that this nonviolent march protest movement or way of trying to gain liberation for black people wasn't going to work. So again, this episode is more examining what does it mean? What is the effects of MLK being assassinated? What does it prove that MLK has been assassinated? I think it's more of that is what they're answering, is talking about what does it prove? What does it mean? What does it translate into that he is now dead? And do you think, this is just a question for the audience, do you think the people who were second in command, who saw the first in command just be shot, do you think that kind of switched up their strategies? Do you think so? I mean, that's a human question to have. So let's continue. I'll rewind so we can hear her again and then let it continue to play. So this point she makes is what we were discussing.
All others in significance was the cold-blooded murder of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
The effect that I'm most aware of in the assassination of Dr. King was in the final and total rejection on the part of the establishment of black people approaching the establishment on its own terms. And it was proven and made very clear to all black people that this is something that would not work, that the rewards of Dr. King's very gracious and noble and Western.
Yeah, so she's saying it, the Christian and the white and all that. So she's saying it to say he did it your way, white Christian, Western Christian person. The way you said to gain freedom, to gain these things, these civil rights, he did it the white way, the Christian way. And look what he got. So that's obviously not the way to do it, is what she's saying. She was her takeaway from or one of her takeaways from the assassination of Martin Luther King. Let's continue.
White Christian approach to solving black people's problems was rejected finally.
The only individual who had stature enough and who was a recognized leader of the integration civil rights movement was Dr. King. When Dr. King, the growing experience, the reality of the under which black people were living had been shown clearly through the experiences of SCLC, that the effort at demonstrating and petitioning the white power structure had not succeeded in bringing about basic change in this country. So that when Dr. King was assassinated, it seemed to me that one of the most obscene things that was possible to happen did happen. That is, the same people who'd been calling Dr. King Martin Luther Coon all these years, on the night of his death, were embracing him, were embracing his philosophy, were saying that.
I'm gonna rewind his statement back. But isn't that what's happening now? Everybody's a Martin Luther King now. Everybody, his values are my values. These are the very same people that will be calling him out, that we calling them radical, that we calling them all types of things.